Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Nrl Olympics. Today we're going to be showcasing some of the best in the NRL and combining them with the Olympics. There's currently 4 days left in the Olympics, so what better way to celebrate than with chucking some NRL players in some key sports. We're going to be going through plenty of sports with plenty of positions, and I want you to comment if you do disagree. From sprinting to table tennis to golf, we're going to be finding out which NRL player suits that sport. If you guys like the video, make sure subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. But let's get straight into this. A bit of fun, the NRL Olympics, and we're going to start off with the 100-metre sprint.
Subscribe to Entertainer.
So Dan, the 100-metre sprint, there's so much talent in the NRL. There's so many fast different players with different names as well. You've got Turbo, you've got Fox, you've got this young bloke coming through, Xavier Savage. What do you think? Well, Steve, I'll tell you, there are some great candidates for this first one. The 100-metre sprint is a very well-known event with some of the best athletes around the world. So Australia is going to need someone with power and speed, and none other than Josh Addo-Carr from the Melbourne Storm. They refer to him in Australia over as the Fox. And I tell you what, Gus Gould describes him as the fastest man on the planet, and I can back it up. I think he's a perfect choice for the 100-metre sprint, and I give Josh Addo-Carr a huge rap and chance tonight. Yeah, you're not wrong, Stephen. I've seen some great highlights of this young fella. He definitely knows how to run the ball over there. It's going to be a very different challenge against some tough athletes tonight. But as you mentioned, the nickname of Fox, it sums it all up. Addo-Carr is our nominee for the 100-metre sprint tonight. Dan, next up tonight, we're going to be having basketball. I tell you what, over here in America, where we have such a good team, so you're going to need somebody with a lot of skill. And I think someone that's skilled over there in the NRL, correct me if I'm wrong, but star player of last season, and he's injured at the moment, but he's having a great season. Nathan Cleary, I think he can get those shots. He knows how to get down and dirty at the rim, so I'm going to put my nomination in for Nathan Cleary. Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head here, Steve. I think he's a player with a lot of skill, resilience, can just back up and put in a really big effort. So he'd be a massive addition to the Boomers. So we're going to chuck Nathan Cleary in the basketball section for tonight's Olympics. So, Steve, next up on the card, we have boxing. Now, there's some fantastic athletes that are big and powerful who have previously competed in some charity events, but I think one of the standout has to be Junior Paulo from the Parramatta Eels. I think he can get in the ring and push for some gold medals. So, I'm going to nominate Junior Paulo here. What do you think of this one? Junior is a beast. He gets in the ring, his opponent fears him, and I think he can definitely come over and represent Australia tonight. So, Junior Paulo, if you're listening to this, come over, put those gloves on, get yourself in the ring, and do your best to bring home the gold for Australia. So, Dan, we're going to go with the cycling here. I had a lot of trouble with this decision, but I think there's someone who has a bit of speed about him, has a bit of footwork. There's a few players like this. Kalen Ponga probably a good choice here, but I'm going to go to the West Tigers, and I'm going to select David Nofoaluma for cycling. Oh, absolutely. David just gives it all that he's got, every performance, even if the West Tigers are struggling. So I think it's a great choice. I think that on the bike, he would be very dangerous. So David Nofoaluma, I'm surprised, but I think it's a good choice for the Aussie cycling team. So, Dan, next up we have diving. Now, diving, very interesting event. You've got to pick the right person with the right set of skills. And this player dives every single game. I've heard that he has become a professional at it, whether it's Australia, whether it's the Blues, his Roosters. Did you guess who it is? I'm going to select for diving Mr. James Tedesco. He has mastered the art of diving, and I think that he definitely has what it takes to come over here and win gold. He could have won gold for some of his acting performances for diving over there in the NRL, but I think James Tedesco here, Dan. Yeah, you're not wrong about that one, Teddy. He does like to take a dive, so he definitely could use his skill over there in the Olympics. We're going to take James Tedesco for diving. I like that one, Steve. Okay, Steve, our next event is going to be golf. Now, there are a lot of players who spend their free time in golf. I know Mitchell Moses from the Parramatta Eel. Some of the Gold Coast Titans were spotted earlier in the year up at the Gold Coast at Top Golf. So, look, I'm going to go with the Parramatta Eel here, but I'm not going to go with Mitchell Moses. I think I'm going to go with a big fella with a bit of strength, a nice swing on him, and a very, very beautiful moustache. Oh, you're talking about Regan Campbell-Gillard, aren't you? I tell you what, I've seen him on the golf course. Nice swing about him. I think that he would do really good over here, and that moustache, it just looks like it's ready to jump off and hold that gold medal. So let's get Regan Campbell-Gillard over here as our golf selection. Okay, Steve, so I've seen your selection for this next one, which is high jump, and I'm a little bit confused. I know you're over there watching NRL, but I want to know why this fellow has been picked to represent Australia. Why? Yeah, Dan, it was a very out there choice for me, but I went back to the game last year when Penrith played the Melbourne Storm, and I tell you what, Viliami Kikau, he went over the top of Pappenhausen. He goes up for these high balls. He's meant to be a back rower, but he just looks comfortable going for a high ball, and I think it would be different with his body side over at high jump, but I'm going to give him a chance to compete here for Australia. So the representative for high jump is going to be Viliami Kikau. Okay, Dan, so for our next event, we have marathon. Now, marathon, I heard that you had Jason Saab earlier, but I heard you decided to go with Manly, but in a different route. Explain to me the player you've picked and why. Yeah, I've gone with Tom Trbojevic here. I think this photo just sums it up. He's saying, yeah, mate, I'll come over. I'll win gold. Easy job done. He can just do absolutely anything, and I think he wouldn't run out of puff. His name's Turbo for a reason, so I think he will do Australia very proud over in the marathon. So the next event we have is the shot put. So the shot put, we're going to need someone with a lot of strength. We're going to need someone big and scary who you probably wouldn't want to meet on the street because you know that he could just throw you. And there are a lot of big bodies over there in the NRL. But Dan, who have you gone with? Yeah, I've gone with that big unit from the Melbourne Storm. I wouldn't want to run into him on the street and piss him off. Or even if you did piss him off and you said that he's throwing you, he'd be throwing that shot put very well for a gold medal. I've gone with Nelson Asofa-Solomona. He's a scary machine of a monster. I think he could throw these little players on the wing, these little Sean Russells or these debutantes that come and they're little and get smashed on the wing. Imagine what he could do to them. I reckon he'd be throwing them and winning a shot put. So Nelson can come over and represent Australia. Okay, Steve, so we're going to need someone here for surfing who spends a lot of time at the beach. I mean, there's a club that I've named after the beach, so I'm going to go to the Titans here. I'm going to let you announce it. It's a little bit strange because he probably could break the surfboard before he gets on it, but let's announce our surfer for Australia. Yeah, drum roll. We've gone with David Fifita here. I think David Fifita has been a fantastic NRL player. He's loved his time with the Gold Coast. Plenty of time at the beach as well. A big unit with strength to stay on the board if he doesn't break it. Very skilled NRL player. Okay, Dan, so let's go to the swimming now. There are a lot of young guys that could probably swim over here, but I'm going to go with the Parramatta Eels half here. I think that the competitive half, strong, can stay in the water. I'm going to go with their young 5'8" in Dylan Brown. Dan, what do you think of this one? Look, I think it's an all right choice. There's plenty of choices that could be above it, but I mean, we're getting through it. So swimming, we'll send Dylan Brown straight over. Well, next up, Steve, sees the Melbourne Storm. They had table tennis. Table tennis was the Melbourne Storm's thing during the tough period last year, and this fellow, Nico Hines, he was very good at table tennis, so I think he can come over here and compete for Australia. Enough said, Nico Hines here. Well, I'm really interested about this next one in skateboarding. It's fairly new to the Olympics, and there are a lot of NRL players with footwork. I mentioned Ponga before, but I'm going to go to the Penrith Panthers here. He's been outstanding this year in run meters, and I think just his feet skills are really good to watch. So I'm going to go with Penrith. Brian Tu'o. I think Brian definitely, as I mentioned, a lot of feet work. He can come over here. He can showcase those skills with kickflip, with high around the park. So I'm going to nominate Brian Tu'o to come and represent Australia in skateboarding. And last but not least, we're gonna cross to Dan here, and I think Dan, you can introduce us for this one. Wrestling. I think Australia is pretty confident in winning gold here. We are going to represent Melbourne Storm back rower Felice Kafusi. Look at these grub shots. There's been big hits on Ryan Madison. There's plenty of charges against him. I think that wrestling would be the perfect sport for Melbourne's Felice Kafusi, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it and playing the role of both it's Dan and Steve. Comment who you think would represent and win gold. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Go and check out our sponsor, Drom Clothing Co. over on Instagram and use code ENT15 for a discount. If you haven't checked my chat with Grant Atkins, the referee, go check that out and I'll post some more videos soon. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys later.